Yo, what's up, guys? YouTube. Okay, guys. I have with me Paulie. He just won the remote duel YCS for Las Vegas. This is absolutely insane, Paulie, bro. Dude, I'm so happy for you. First top, first win. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I mean, I'll let you take it off, and I guess before we start, do you have any shout outs?
Yes. Two huge shout outs. One, my friend Brad. Like, we literally said we were playing this event together, as in, like, he couldn't play this weekend. He had a commitment, but we built this deck together 100%. We tested every day together, like, exclusively. Like, we went in. And so huge shout out to Brad. And then second, to my teammates, Hani, Pack, they topped this weekend. We did awesome. Huge shout out to Luxury, for sure. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, bro, you're gonna get that nice payout from us afterwards. Oh, God. Okay. Anyways, bro, show us what you played.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to start with the hand traps because they are combo pieces. Well, not actually, but in this deck, all you need to do is normal summon any tuner. It doesn't matter what it is because you can't use your normal summon effect anyway. So normaling any hand trap is actually fine, which allows you to play more hand traps than you otherwise maybe reasonably could, because you can just, you always have to normal one anyway. So it's like if you've opened like one dead hand trap, let's say, that you don't use, you just normal. It's fine. So 3 Ash, the best one. 3 Ogre, 3 Bell. Bell is sort of like another copy of Ash right now. You mainly use it to hit Princess. All 3 of these deal with the Brave engine. Either you Ash or Bell the Princess, or you Ogre the Adventure once they place it on the board. So you have 9 ways to essentially turn off most of the Adventure engine. Ogre's slightly worse because they still get the token, but if they hard open rights, Ogre's better. So
bro,
anyway,
one thing before you continue, I gotta say something.
My turn is fast.
Bro, you heard the rule. No. First of all, you're talking perfectly fine. There's one rule, when you win, you have to get your deck that you won with in max ready. Bro, you finna go broke with the 60 card pile.
Bro,
you finna go broke. I'm trolling. Imagine it.
So, yo, oh my god. What was I saying?
All right,
we're not maxing this shit out.
Yeah, okay, sure.
All right, but and then 2 more. There's 2 Valor. There's actually more than this, but there's the other 2 that can, like I said, be used as part of the combo book essentially by normaling. They're just a good generic hand trap. All right. And then the remaining one, there was 3 Valor. We cut 1 for 1 Imperm. I'll explain why later. You guys might be able to guess. But and then the last hand trap is 1 Nib. Now you really might be able to guess, but it's 13 total. To be honest, if I could, one thing I thought about changing going into this weekend that I kind of regretted, like Saturday morning, was I think maining 3 Nib is just correct. Like, it's people don't like maining this card right now, but it's just by far the best hand trap. Like in terms of like
crazy.
Yeah, in terms of net impact, it does far more than any other hand trap. The problem is it's the least like versatile, or it's not. It's the like. It's, if they put up, it takes the longest to be able to resolve. So if by that point they put up any negate, it's just a dead card, or just, it's not that great. So it's like, but if you see it, so I understand why people don't like it. They'd rather play other hand traps that, like, if you see them alone, can at least potentially cut the opponent off from even starting their combo. But on the flip side, if you see any one other hand trap with Nib, it is just so good. Like against
that's so crazy.
Yes, particularly against the base deck that I'm playing. Like, at least against PK, they can just still search Fogblade and still end on let's say at least 1 Fogblade. But against my deck, if you Nib plus the hand trap against me, I actually have almost nothing I can do. Like whatever hand traps I still have in hand that I opened myself, I can still have live. But other than that, there's basically no stops I can end on unless I dumped a snow earlier or something.
So Paulie, that was one of the reasons that I really was hesitant on playing your deck, was because I main decked the Nib and I was like, bro, it doesn't have a real engine as a backbone. Obviously, if the combo loop resolves, it's so broken. But when you get Nib plus any other hand trap against your deck specifically, it has no backbone to back up its or substantiate the rest of the plays going forward, aka grind. Like PK's has Fog Blades, PK has the graveyard, at least DDDs if it gets Nib Imperm, it has dark contracts to search cards, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly the reason why I was a little hesitant at first.
PK also just has yes, I 1000% agree. That is also the reason why I didn't want to play this deck. I played it because we put so much time into it, and I was ready with it for the weekend. But I kind of I didn't think this deck was going to do that well, just because of how vulnerable it was to Nib hand trap. I don't think I ever got hit with Nib hand trap though. People just, I don't know, I think people weren't necessarily playing the amount of hand traps in their main that they should have been. Online and competitive money matching tourneys and stuff. I'm used to playing against players who have maybe more optimized decks with a lot more hand traps. So the deck actually recently was not doing as well online. So I was considering that's why I felt not super confident with it. But this weekend, I didn't see as many hand drops as I expected. I usually saw my opponent have like one each game, but you can play through one easy. So in any case, yeah, I think Nib's really good, especially if you're manning other hand traps. On the flip side, no, yeah, I think Nib's really good. Anyway, but yeah, I will say another thought. I remember what I was gonna say regarding the thought of how the problem with this deck is that it has no recovery. Again, if you get nibbed with hand trap, you do lose. But as far as like the other issue of, as far as like in general, the issue of it not having recovery, it actually does. As long as you can just resolve like deep like Verte, the recovery it's a lot less than PK, but it's actually not as bad as it seems. Like you think like, oh, like if you just start playing right and they hand trap you and they hand trap you again and you just throw a Verte down like through 2 hand traps, like that's actually oftentimes enough. Like if you have one of your own hand traps in hand, that's oftentimes enough to just like winning, 2 stops if they're at 4 cards. It's not always gonna get there, but sometimes it does. And if they can't kill you, you have 2 draws next turn. Like the D hero engine is actually pretty solid for recovery. And you know, now I think about it, there were times like I hit with double hand trap, and I just went to Verte after that and just summoned DP and grind it out. So the recovery's not as bad as it seems, literally just because of the D hero engine. That is the whole grind game with this deck post turn 1. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So, for the Braves, 3 Princess, 1 Griffin. I was playing 2 of this for several weeks. I won a couple online tourneys over the last couple weeks. I was with a different build, and I was playing 2 Griffin in that. But I cut it because like it's a cool card to open. It's a 7, so it's like another way to just hard make Baron. If you just don't open a great combo, you just need to hard make like synchro with Red Rose. This plus Red Rose is just a really good combo by itself. So like it's not a bad card to open. And if you do see like any like Brave card, it's like, yeah, you can search it, but like I'm perfectly fine like hard opening this one. Like you can still search Princess as an extender if you already have Griffin, and like summon the second Princess. I like opening Griffin. Like it's definitely like my favorite duplicate Brave piece to open. But I cut it just because like we were looking for cards to cut to fit some things in, and I would actually potentially consider putting it back in and cutting the second Adventure. I don't actually think you need the second continuous spell, but I'll get to that when I get to the spells. But anyway, it's
you play 2 of the continuous. Okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but we'll get there. 3 Red Rose, 1 Rocks Rose.
God card.
Yeah, I was calling it Pink Rose for like a month, but apparently its name is actually Rock Rose. Rocks Rose. Yeah, this is like the backbone of the deck. If Red Rose is a +2 basically in a normal that gets around the Brave restriction because it triggers in Grave. It doesn't trigger on field. You just need 1 monster synchro with it, either Griffin to make Baron, Vishuda to make Baron, or like a token. You know, even if you use rights and they ogre the Adventure, the token still has value for this deck because you can synchro it with a Red Rose. You can make either Yahtzee if you have a way to pop it, or you can just make Riser. Like if you just have like a dead token and you're just summoning Red Rose, that makes Riser, send Snow, make Hulk. So that's at minimum Aurora Combo, which is 2 negates and a Snow. Or like just send Snow, make Verte. It's just, yeah, Riser's cool. So like token plus this is really good. There's like so many different synchros you can make with this that are just broken, and just any synchro lets you summon Pink, search the spell. That's 2 extenders right there. That makes a Hulk on its own. So those are really good. The Punk engine. This engine's it's not like a mandatory part of the deck.
I was about to say.
No,
I hate this engine, but yeah.
Brad's been like wanting to cut this recently, but like I've still been hesitant to. I think like I don't think it like won any games. I probably like, but it definitely like I like getting the free cards. Sometimes that's discard. Like it's nice. The main reason I like it is not because of Foxy. It's mainly just for like it turns Telly into 2 pieces. So you can Telly, summon Zeman, search the other one, normal it. Like I said, unless you hard open Rose, you're always just normaling any. It just needs to be any blank tuner. So just, you know, you search this one off this, you can normal that as your tuner, and then you don't have to normal one of your hand traps. So it lets you keep a hand trap in hand if you just search this for free. So I like that interaction with Telly. And then we still play the 1 Foxy just because like if you do already have a normal that like you don't mind summoning, or like you just need an extra extender for like just quantity of link material that you need, like it's just it's a you know, it's a way to special them without normaling. It's not great because you have to discard an additional card for it, but it's there. Sometimes it comes up. It's definitely useful. But yeah, this is mainly the good one. All right. 2 Souls, 2 Illusion of Chaos. So we're not playing Prep. We're not playing any more additional copies of these. It's just these 4. Yep. When I first picked up the deck, the single biggest flaw I felt like with the deck was opening, like I kept opening hands where it was just like all monsters, and I was like, wow, Souls seems really bad. It's just like it's sometimes you don't have enough spells for it. Sometimes like if you don't successfully resolve the adventurer combo, you don't generally have much to discard for this. It's usually just like pitch 1, draw 1, which is mediocre. But it's still a body, and any physical body, like sometimes you just need one blank monster to have the number of link material that you need. So like, and if you do successfully resolve adventure, it's a draw 2. So it has the potential to be really good. Going back to my original thought, what I was going to say as to why I'm only playing 4, the very first thing I noticed with the deck was it felt like I was just running all these monsters, and I realized it wasn't that Souls is not good, it's that if you open more than 1 Souls, it's really, really bad. Like imagine opening 2 and then like your adventure doesn't resolve, or you don't open it. It's so bad, because 1 is, like I said, it's just a mediocre blank, which is fine, because you can use a flink material, like I said. But like if you open 2 and then you just have like a dead one that you can't even summon, it's not great. So we cut the we cut the 5th copy. We were playing 3 Souls, 2 Illusion. I was very happy with that. I would not put the 5th one back in. Prep is like okay, because like you can, the theory is like if you open multiples and one of them's prep, it's not actually multiples, because you can summon the Souls and then discard the prep for the Souls and trade it for a new card. That's fair. If you did successfully resolve the adventure combo, then though like you won't be able to discard the prep because you already have 2 cards to discard. So it's but then you could argue in those games you're winning those anyway. So there's a lot of like thought to it, but like you can make counter arguments. But I was very happy with not playing the 5th copy. I'm happy with just these 4, no prep. I just don't want to brick on those. I probably didn't need to go into all that depth on that. I'm sorry, but
nope, no, you're good. I think people appreciate it, the explanation, so you're good.
All right, I hope so too. Cool. 3 Vishuddha. Similar to Souls, it's a body. It's potential link material that just has an additional effect. You know, it's really good going second. It's a great card for like helping break boards. Same as Sword Soul, just it bounces anything. This card is actually really good. And when we were considering cutting the Souls completely and we were trying to find replacements, I just kept thinking to myself like, I wish I could just play 6 Vishuddha. Like if there was another card that did like the same thing as this, it would just be so good. But you realize when we were looking at like alternatives, there just isn't anything else that does like exactly like what this does in the game. Like just a body that also just bounces anything from grave. Like it can't be veilered, non-targeting, or targeting, but it's generic. It's a really cool effect. And to make one clarification on my first comment about it's just generic link material, more importantly, it's synchro material. It's a 7, so similar to Hard Griffin, like I said, it can be used to make Baron with Red Rose. It's one of the levels that lines up with Red Rose. So that's a big part of it. You make Baron with this a lot, and use that as the Kickstarter for your synchro combo. So the fact that it's a 7 is also really, really good in this deck. Now for the 1-ofs, we play Hop Your Squadron. I love this card. I really, really don't like Creation Resonator. That's the other one that some people are playing instead. You need to play, you want to play one or the other because they have 600 defense. It's there as a Cupid pitch target. So during some of your synchro combos, specifically when you do Auroradon Deskbot, you're able to make a 4 while climbing up into whatever level you're going to go for. So you could just make Hard Baron with your Deskbot and your 3 tokens, so it's 1 stop. But if you just play this in your deck, it makes Aurora Combo into 2 stops. Aurora Combo is otherwise only 1 stop. It's just a Savage or a Baron. But with this, what you do is you Cupid pitch. You make it with one of the tokens. One of the tokens in Deskbot. Cupid pitch makes itself level 5. And then that synchros with one of the other level 3 Aurora tokens to make, that's 8. So you make Savage. And then Cupid pitch searches this. And what you do is next turn, once you negate something with Savage, you use this. Its effect is it lets you synchro summon on your opponent's main phase using it in hand as one of the materials. So you synchro it with your own Savage after you've used the Savage to hard make a Baron. Oh, the stream ended? Hold on.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I looked at my screen and okay, we're good. I thought I got disconnected or something. Okay, cool. Yeah, so just by playing this in your deck, it makes it so that when you resolve Aurora Combo, instead of just Savage, it's Savage and then Baron. So it's 2 negates, 2 interrupts, just from resolving Aurora Combo. So that's why I like that card a lot.
I like it a lot too because like it's so much better into like droplets. Like if they droplet your Savage,
exactly.
At least it can, you can do stuff. Yeah, you can do stuff with it afterwards, which I think is cool. Whereas the creation card just eats more to like drops.
Exactly. So. Like this and Snow are like 2 of the cards in the deck that like allow you to still have interrupts like through getting dropleted. So it's really cool. Yeah. Speaking of which, the next card is Snow. Like it's also really good.
That's one of my favorite cards in the game ever, bro. That card is sick.
It doesn't come up that much because as long as you've successfully stuck Baron on board, which is what with Red Rose, which is what your main goal is to do, you're always going to just make Yahtzee with your token instead of Riser. because Baron Yahtzee that's full combo with Red Rose. That's like the main goal of the deck. But sometimes like if you don't have access to Baron, you won't have a way to pop Yahtzee on your own turn to summon Mirror from deck. So like you just instead you make Riser, you send this to grave, and it's just an extra stop, and it's really good. Yeah. Okay. One Despot, that's for the Aurora combo. The Aurora combo is not your go-to combo turn 1, but your go-to combo is you want to always, if you don't hard open the Red Rose, you want to summon the Red Rose off Hulk and then do your synchro and then do the whole combo. But sometimes if you just don't have enough pieces to do that, because that requires, you know, either you have to open one of the 7s with the Red Rose, or Adventurer piece with Red Rose so that you can do the Griffin and token. And if you don't open one of those things, so either it's that, or you're just making Hulk and then summoning the Red Rose and still doing it with the synchro. If you don't have enough pieces to do all of that, because that essentially takes 3 to 4 pieces, right? You need either Red Rose plus a 7 or plus a 7, or you need like 2 pieces to make Hulk plus a 7. Adventure represents 2 pieces, so it's not as hard, but like that's still like 3 pieces you need usually. If you only have 2 pieces, you can't do all that, but you can go like 2 pieces makes Hulk, and like at least at minimum, if you can't do a Rose combo, you can still just summon Despot and do, you know, the play we said with the Hopier. So it's still 2 stops. So that's why we play that. And also a lot of times turn 2 I would do that. Like turn 1 I do the whole Rose Dragon combo, and then like if they somehow clear the board, or if you don't get to the full like Scythe Lock and you're in a grind game, turn 2 we play 2 Hulk. So we can
nice
combo. Yeah, so that like turn 2 a lot of times, like I would do that a lot. Like the second Hulk is when I would summon Despot, do the Aurora combo. Aurora is really good turn 2 also, because like it pops a card. So like when your opponent, like when it's the like subsequent turn and your opponent actually has a field, Aurora like has extra value. So that plays really good for that was generally like the second turn play, like our second turn. One Mirror. This is to summon from deck off Yahtzee. That's all it does, but that's like one of the most important parts of the deck. This gets 3 tokens. It like it's just a bunch of link material. That's basically how you make your Dagda and Verte at the end. And your Arclight. Usually when you get to that point in the combo, you still have the Reborn spell in your hand that you searched off the pink Rose Dragon, and then you use that Reborn spell to make Herald with one of the tokens, and then you just like make the links with the other tokens and the Mirror and Dagda Verte and just the whole thing. If you draw this card, it definitely hinders your combo, because not really. It prevents you from being able to do the Yahtzee combo, but like that's another situation where you just make Riser instead of Yahtzee and just send Snow, and like you don't end on like quite as much, but like it's still generally really good. So drawing this is not, it's a dead card in hand, but it certainly doesn't mean you can't combo. There's definitely a ton of good ways to combo in this deck without Mirror. And another cool interaction, if you do draw it, and you can put it back.
Yeah,
you can put it back.
Say.
When you switch souls, people don't realize necessarily, like some people, like this doesn't have to put itself back. And because we play 2 copies, that's why we play, that's an important reason why you have to play 2. Like if you have this in hand and this, you can search souls and then put the Mirror back with the Illusion of Chaos, and then send the other chaos to summon the souls. So that's like another really cool interaction. So yeah, there is a way to put Mirror back. There's also same idea with the Destiny Heroes. There's a way to put them back too, because you can just put them back with Illusion of Chaos. There were a lot of times where I would like open one of these with Illusion of Chaos, and then like put the Destiny Hero back with the Illusion, and then like Illusion's like a dead card in hand, but then you can use it as like fodder for like a Foxy Tune or a Small World. And like whereas the D Hero, you can't. That's one of the things I always hated about these, like the fact that you can't, like, just if you have them in hand, you have to just let them sit there, because you can't discard them without turning off your DPE engine. So like the fact that Illusion of Chaos just lets you trade them for like a different blank in hand that you can discard is just awesome. There were a ton of times where I did that and like put the D Hero back and then banish the Illusion of Chaos for Small World itself. So that's cool. Yeah, the 2D heroes, these are broken. This is the entirety of your follow-up in this deck. It's a joke, but it sort of is. Alongside your second house, your second house, your Aurora combo, and your DPE. So there's some follow-up. But Scythe, this is like the most like,
bro, don't show me that card, bro. I'm getting PTSD from looking at it. That card's insane.
Like the whole gimmick with this deck is like, in addition to all these other ways that you that I've talked about, where you can like play through hand traps and dump Snow and add Hoppy and all this stuff, if you do get to resolve full combo and they don't have any hand traps and you get through everything, like full combo with this deck is 2 hard negates, DPE, and Scythe. And one of them is, like I said, you make the Arclight with the Reborn spell and the last Mirror token. So if they have droplets, they can't droplet you because when you stand, you have to use DPE and standby. So you go on their standby phase, you go DPE, pop itself, pop scythe. They can't chain droplet because Herald says any monster sent from hand or deck to grave is banished instead. And like droplet says send from hand, send to graveyard for quest, and any card that says send in specifically says to graveyard in as part of the quest, you can't legally do that if there's a herald or something preventing it. So like they can't legally discard a monster for a droplet while heralds face up. So they have to discard. They can discard spell or traps, but then you could just negate the droplet with either the Arclight or the Baron. So basically it's a undropletable Scythe Lock, and that's this deck's full combo. It's not just Scythe Lock; it's an undropletable Scythe Lock with 2 negates and and stuff. Then. So that's believe it or not, that's it for the monsters. There's only like 30 something.
Oh, bro, that's it. Okay. You sure, bro?
Yeah,
sure you want to stop there?
It's only 30 something. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, there's another version of deck we're testing with like even more monsters. The level 3 engine with the dinosaurs and everything, but that's another deck.
Monsters
I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Let's check. I'm sure. I want to count. Let's
yeah, count the monsters.
8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2. That's not a monster. Ah, that's that. All right, hold on. Oh, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37 monsters.
37 monsters.
37 monsters.
37 monsters.
Bro, this bro.
I'm out.
Oh
they're all so cool though.
37 monsters, bro. No.
Bro,
You
what?
Bro, all right, so yeah, okay, all right, so for spell cards we've got our 3 Rite of Mizar. This is definitely the best brave card to open. Like Princess is substantially more vulnerable to hand traps because it can just be ashed or belled, but this one like they can ogre the adventure, but you still keep the token, which like I said is very valuable for making either Riser or Yahtzee. So this is one of your best. This is like the card you probably most want to open in the deck aside from like Red Rose. Which,
oh, Paul, we saw you open that card. Oh, we saw you open it. Yeah. All 3 games.
No. I saw him open it. Chill out. I saw him open it. Like, what are you saying, bro? I literally saw
that card's crazy.
Oh, yeah, an arm match. Yeah, oh my gosh.
You God-handed me, man.
Bro, I did. So, and then 2 of these. The reason we play 2 is because, like, if you open Souls, the standard play turn 1 does involve sending your adventure to grave along with Draco back to draw 2, and then like the idea is like, so turn 1 you're sending your own adventure to grave, and that way, and so by playing 2 that way, like you have a second one that like you can go into turn 2. It like if you've successfully resolved the Souls and you comboed and got to a turn 2, like you're almost definitely winning, and like rarely does having another adventure at that point make the difference. So I don't think you really need the second one for that. And aside from that, like if it gets ogred, like sometimes against like control decks, sometimes having the second one's nice to, like on the next turn, like rights to go into it. But like if you have rights on the next turn, then like you didn't need. Maybe that's I don't know. I feel like the second one probably wasn't needed, and I hate opening one of these with a rights or a princess. That's like really bad. Like I think that's like one of my least favorite things to open in the deck. So I probably would cut. It's if you don't have a rights or a princess. Like, it's not a horrible draw because it gets you to, you know, either a token or a griffin and a Draco back. So it's like it's fine. If it's your only brave piece, it's fine. It gets you some extension. But like if you did open a rights or a princess, you just could have got this for free, and it's just like a complete dead card in hand that you can't use now till next turn. And if they don't ogre you, it's just a dead card completely. So I really want to cut one of these. It's probably fine. There's probably no reason not to. I always feel very hesitant to like change a deck list last minute, because like I think it's very easy to see something in theory that seems correct, and then in practice a situation or a matchup or something comes up where like you needed it and that you didn't think of. So I tend to be very averse to making last minute changes in general. So I just stuck with the 2. But I do think I'm gonna test 1 now that the event's over. I definitely think I could go to 1. Free Small World. This card's really cool. I hate this card in theory because it's a -1, and like so. There's 2 main cards you want to search with this in your deck, Red Rose and Princess. Those are kind of the 2 most powerful cards in the deck. Like, the main combo in this deck is you want to see rights with Red Rose. So this gets you to either of the 2 main pieces in the deck that you want to see, because it can get Princess, which gets rights, or it can just hard get Red Rose. Because you play like 67 monsters in the main deck, you can basically get anything off anything because there's so many bridges. So you can pretty much get any card gets you any card in this deck with Small World. So like now the reason I don't like it is on its face a -1. So it's like you're taking a hard -1 in exchange for like the replacement being you're losing 2 cards in exchange for like the one that you're getting being one of the best cards in your deck. So it was really good throughout the weekend actually, but like I just feel like most of the time you're getting Princess off of it. And by the way, when I say Princess, I'm referring to Enchantress, the Brave card. I've had the wrong name in my head for like a month and I just can't get out of my head. Anyway, so if you get like Enchantress, that's super vulnerable to Ash or Bell. Like using Small World, getting Princess, and then like just banishing it and getting Belled or Ashed feels so bad. Like you're down 2 cards now. And so that's why I kind of, in theory, feel like this card's iffy. But in practice, it was really good. And this weekend, I actually ended up getting Red Rose off of it a lot. It's funny, like in other tournaments and testing, like I tended to always be getting Princess off it. In the tournament, I often was getting like Red Rose off it, which was just really good. So this card worked really good. I was, in practice, really happy with this card. It was really good. Okay. 3 E-Telly. Another awesome extender. Like I said, it gets Xiamen. Sometimes it's just one extender. It's just a body. That's a tuner, which is relevant. But sometimes, like I said, it gives you a body and a normal body. Like you summon Xiamen, search, then normal the spider. So it's 2 extenders off of 1 card. It requires your normal, but again, in this deck, your normal's not usually doing anything unless you open Red Rose. So it's good. This is good. Just a cool extender. 3 droplet. Some people don't like to main this in decks that are maining a lot of hand traps because they feel like it's like doesn't synergize as well with hand traps as hand traps synergize with each other. So for example, you would just cut this for 3 more hand traps. I think that's incorrect. I think it does synergize very well with hand traps because like usually if you hand trap your opponent, it's very hard to like successfully hand trap your opponent even with multiples and have them like not end on at least one thing. So like I feel like it synergizes very well because like if you hand trap them, right, they end on like one thing. Like if you double hand trap them and they end on like just Verte DPE, like I was saying, like I've been doing. And if they do that and I just have a droplet in hand, like I can just check the DPE and then like yes, that puts you at 2 cards in hand, but like there's a lot of like ways you can still do pretty good things with like 2 card combos in this deck. And again, that's if you have like double hand trap with it. Like even 1 hand trap with it, I still think synergizes pretty well in general. So it's a good card. It's yeah, I was gonna say one other thought about it, but that's it. We always pretty much always side out going second. Going first. Misspoke. I always side out going first. It's one of the worst cards going first, but it's still decent game 1, so it's fine in the main. And then we just side out if we go first. 3 cross out designator. This is as I
this was a spicy. Yeah, this was spicy. You're talking to me about. You're like, yo, Pack, I don't care about your 12 hand traps. I'm like, yo,
bro. So as I was alluding to in the beginning, this is the reason why I was playing the 1 Imperm 1 Nib in the main. Because basically I was like, okay, if there's ever a deck that this card will ever be good in, it's this deck. Because like I have every hand trap in my deck. All the other hand traps in the game, by the way, are in my side. My entire side is like hand traps. So I was like, all right, we're gonna play this card. I didn't test it extensively, so I sort of broke my own rule of like not making last minute changes. But I did test it for like 5 matches or so, and like maybe 10 more than that. It's good. It was good. It definitely like if you like if they have that whole situation where like we were saying, the deck loses what the deck loses to is Nib plus a hand trap. And this is one of the few ways to play through that basically, because like it's very hard to put up. It's very hard to put up Baron and Arclight and then keep comboing, and like that's the only way you're gonna beat like Nib plus another hand trap. Because if you just have Baron up, like just the 1 negate and not Arclight, they're just gonna like Nib hand trap beats you. Like we said, because you can't get to Arclight usually till later on. But like if you have Crossout Designator, that like this is the card that literally stops your main loss condition, which is hand trap Nib. Like, so if they like they're probably gonna reveal Nib first, and like you can Baron it, and then when they chain the additional hand trap, you can cross out on that one. That's like a little risky. It's not really, because like you play every other like hand trap. If it's game 2 or 3 though, I would probably just straight cross out the Nib and keep the Baron, because like game 2 and 3 they could have Gamma as the 4th chain link or 3rd chain link, which is like you can't that's the only hand trap you can't cross out. So like game 2 and 3 I would definitely cross out the Nib hard. I think I always would, even because like even game 1 even if they don't have Gamma, like even if Nib's their only hand trap, you still want to cross out it and keep the Baron, because Baron negate is a much more valuable, more versatile negate than a freaking set cross out is. So you generally cross out the first hand trap they use and save whichever onboard monster negate you have. But yeah, so it's really good. Negates any hand trap. We have Imperm, Veiler, Nibiru, Ogre, Ashe, and Bell in the main. And there's three additional hand traps on the side. 3 additional hand trap names in the side that I'll get to when we get there.
Yeah.
So
you know what card?
really
I like
cool.
that card a lot too, because it's also like similar to Droplets going second against a Scythe lock, where like you can cross out Scythe because you play it in your deck.
Yes,
I don't know if that came up for you, but I thought that's really nice too.
It could come up like if you see a hand trap with it, because if you don't see a hand trap, they're just gonna they're gonna just negate this. Like just using this on Scythe is usually not gonna be enough. But like if you've hand trapped them and you're in like they end on like a more simplified board, yeah. If they like, especially if they like, imagine if they standby phase DPE and like you just chain this on the Scythe, that could be a blowout. It has not come up for me. I will say that. Another interaction we were thinking of was like when we were playing 2 Griffin, we were like, oh, like there are at least some in-engine cards that like you can use this against when like we're going second, like because like if they just they always end on Griffin, and like you know you can, if we're playing 2 Griffin, we can banish our own Griffin and like take out theirs. That's like not great because like then like potentially you can't summon your own Griffin if that happens first, and like also like Griffin's the first thing to not be on any board that got hand trapped. So generally. It's the same thing as Scythe. Like if you didn't have a hand trap in addition, this on Griffin is not going to do anything. And if you did have it right, like if you just have a cross and you don't hand trap them, like this on Griffin's not going to do anything. And if you did hand trap them, the first thing that you're not going to be seeing on their board is Griffin, because usually like all the hand traps are designed to take out the Brave Engine first. So this on Griffin was never going to come up. That was another reason why we decided to cut the second Griffin. We were like, yeah, the cross out Griffin interaction is never going to come up.
I think you know what comes up though, which I think is kind of nice, is when you go first, you can use it against. Yeah, on your opponent's Brave Engine.
I was just about to say last cross out. In any Brave Mirror, like you can set it and use it. So yeah, that was the 4th time where we were gonna say the exact same thing at the same time.
Yo, I'm on your wavelength, G. I already know where you're going.
Oh my god.
Yo, rent free, baby. I'm living rent free in Paulie's head right now.
Oh my god.
Yo, Paul, you want to play me, bro?
No, you're living in my head, bro. What you mean? No, I'm kidding. We're collaborating.
Yeah.
All right. One called by. It's called by Raven.
Yeah.
Does a lot of things. Foolish Burial. So we cut. So one thought on Foolish. One thought on that. There's not many good targets in this deck other than Princess. But it's the 7th copy of Right, basically, which is just really good because, like I said, that's one of the main cards you want to have. It's one of the main cards you're trying to get to in the deck. So that's really good. The only other thing you can really send is Snow, which is solid, but it's the only other really good target because we cut Destrudo. Quick thought on that. I think Destrudo was was in testing one of like the worst cards in the deck. You rarely sent it off Foolish because, like, let's be real, Foolish is a 1-of in a 60-card deck, so you're only opening it like 1 in every like 12 games. So like playing a 1-of just for a 1-of is bad, and like it's just not great. And if you hard open Destrudo, it's just the worst extender of like every extender you could play in this deck. Like because you pay like the 4,000 hurts so much, and you think like, oh well, if you're comboing, who cares about life points? But like no, because one, you're paying 2,000 at the end of your combo every game anyway, which means you'll be at 2,000 after that, which is like kind of risky. I mean, if you're resolving full combo, you're probably going to be fine, but like no one really wants to leave a Verte up. Like imagine Scythe blocking your opponent and then they just summon like a Citadel and like attack over your like Verte or something that's 3k that doesn't use the extra deck. So I didn't and most of the time you're grinding, you're not always doing full combo. So if you just like do a Destrudo and like make Halk and they ash it and they have a second hand trap and you end on like a medium board, you're trying to do like a DPE grind. Imagine like DPEing them and then like, but they have enough monsters to just go straight to battle and kill you over your Verte because you paid 4,000 last turn. So I really didn't like Destrudo. Everyone was playing Destrudo in this deck.
I can relate to this actually. Mr. Puri
oh no!
Here. Puri map, pay half the life points. Didn't you die to that? And didn't you die to that?
I died to that. I turned.
No!
Bro, like this weekend? Wait, what?
Yeah.
We totally understand. Pac totally understands what you're saying when you pay half your life.
Yes, sir.
I
got destroyed by Puri map.
There is one other card that I'm probably gonna play as a Foolish target that I think is like there's a card that I think is really good in this deck that no one's playing that I think we 100% should be. That's 100% correct, and that's like Plague Spreader Zombie.
Oh God, yeah, that card's
like,
insane.
So like, yeah, I'm like, do I want to talk about this right now? Like, yeah, why not? So I think that card is like, so okay, one, it's the only like good like tuner left in the game that isn't banned that you can just summon off Hulk and just bring back for free. Obviously like the put back on top of deck is like a cost, but like that's what Jet Synchron was. Like, yes, this card is more valuable than a put on top, but is it in this deck? Is it? Because now we have another way to put Mirror or one of the D heroes back on top of deck. The D heroes, it's free. Like, if you're putting a D hero back, it's just free because you couldn't use those anyway. And if it's Mirror, you potentially like turn one of your engines back online. So I think Plague has like applications in this deck. And if nothing else, there's a lot of games where when you're doing your full combo, when you at the end you just link Hulk. Like if you've already used the Red Rose combo and you're not doing the Aurora combo, then like you just summoning a blank tuner off Hulk. There's so many, like more than half your games, you're just summoning a blank tuner off Hulk. A lot of games when and you're never doing Aurora turn 1. And if you open a Red Rose Dragon, you're just, like I said, you're just summoning a blank off Hulk usually. So it's like just having a tuner in deck that you can like, even as like a grave resource for like turn 2. What did we say? The deck's missing like resources for like a follow-up. Like that's a free tuner you can bring back on turn 2. If you draw something that you like, if you like, I don't know. I think that if you have like, let's say you open double Nib and then on turn 2, you can't use Celestia because you have like 1 Nib left in hand, you can put it back for Plague Spreader. Like, yeah, you're going to redraw it, but then you can draw 1 more card. So I think Plague's could be really cool in this deck. Yeah, that's basically it. And it would give us a good foolish target. But, there's Paulie going off on a 4-minute tangent on a card that's like not in the deck. Not in the deck. My bad. My bad.
You're insane.
We're doing our deck profile for the next one ahead of time.
Yo, Paulie's swearing bad right now, bro. He's doing his next win deck profile ahead of time. I'm out.
No, not next win. No. All right. So we're playing.
We're still going down the main deck.
Yo, 1 Draco back. Just 1 Basil for the thing and then 1 Fusion Destiny. We don't need to talk about these 3.
The 1 Fusion Destiny, you drew it in the finals, you sicko!
You drew it against
I mean, if I hadn't drawn it, I wouldn't have done the Aurora combo in that game. Because I had it, I was like, okay, like this is fine. The only thing I'm giving up to do Aurora is Scythe, and I was getting Savage, I believe, and happier out of doing it. So,
yeah,
like,
you literally ended on all of it. Hoppy.
Oh, wait, okay. Explain the 1 Fusion Destiny theory because that'll be helpful for people.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely a strong card to play at too. Like it's a solid draw, but it doesn't synergize with much like anything. Like you obviously like after you've done all your plays, you can always use this as like your last card, and it's great. It's a great summon, but like how do I explain this? Going second when you're trying to like break boards, it's like you need your pieces to synergize with each other. Like imagine you have 2 pieces and then Fusion Destiny, and your 2 pieces make 1 play, and it gets stopped by like 1 stop. And now you can do Destiny, and you can summon a DP, cool, and that's like a really good card. But like if your opponent already made like a nice board, like a DPE alone isn't necessarily going to be enough. But if you had 3 pieces, like there's a lot of card combinations in this deck and in other decks that play Verte, where like 3 cards can potentially like the value you can get off 3 is more than like you linearly would get off of like. It's not just 2 + 1. You know, 3 can potentially do like exponentially more than 2. And like, whereas like just 2 is easier to like, it just doesn't like, I'd rather have a additional piece that synergizes with my other cards to actually pretend like if it resolves, help me do more rather than like, okay, well I drew Fusion Destiny, so like I can't actually play through the whole board, so I'll just throw the other thing down. It'll get stopped, but then at least I can resolve Fusion Destiny. I'd rather try to like have combo pieces that synergize to actually crack the board. And that's like in PK, I was finding that was like type of stuff was coming up a lot, and I was just siding the second one out, going second a lot. Going first, if you could go like first every game, I'd play 2. But, like it's fine, but it's mainly for going second. Like I said, this issue comes up. And like I was siding one out a lot in PK going second. So for this deck, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna only play 1 because space was surprisingly tight in 60. The second I will clarify the second Destiny was definitely on the list of like cards that like. The list of like the next couple cards we would have put in if we had space, the second Destiny was definitely like on that list. Like it was probably like the second or third like next card we would have put in. But like yeah, so it almost made the cut. All right, all right. So that's the main deck. Let's go to the side deck. Oh yeah, let's go to the side deck. All right, so more hand traps. 3 Gamma Driver, solid one. No reason to not play Gamma. 2 more Nib. 2 more Nib. This is the best hand trap. That's the second best hand trap.
It is the best hand trap.
Yeah, so...
Yo, those guys are crazy.
Yeah. Fun fact. Against TOURNEY in game 2, I opened both of these. Sorry,
Yo, Freelo!
Then he opened Red Rose Souls plus the Brave package. Like
I think I drew a second nib for turn, but like yeah, the rest of my hand was like, yeah. I think I had a
Brave package.
Rose, not Red Rose. I'm not sure.
Souls.
Was it Red Rose or was it Pink Rose? Did I have Red Rose?
It was Red Rose.
Oh, sick, let's go.
You don't remember making Herald, summoning Rox Rose from your deck?
Oh yeah.
He played through Imperm. He played through Imperm, Valor, Nib, bro. His deck barely plays through 2 hand traps. Like he opened the God hand that plays through like 4.
Yo.
Yeah. No, he's correct.
With the 2 fast hand traps in the game.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, free win.
I'm sick.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, Annie. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be you.
Yo, skill issue. Skill issue.
Skill issue.
All right. So we played 3 Lancia and 3 Droll on this side. So this was actually the one difference between me and my friend Brad's build, who, like I said, we built the deck together. He felt like we should have played a couple more cards for spell and trap removal. I made the decision to kind of just like max out on hand traps, because to me, like, at least online, most of the format is like mirrors. Like I have my matches online in the past 2 weeks were like base mirrors. I should have like recognized that like actual IRL in-person remote duel like field is there's always a lot more control, I would say. But like still, I still was not horribly unhappy with these. I didn't really use the Droll much. I used that the least, I would say. I put the Lancias in a lot against certain Sword Soul variants and against Flunder, even though I didn't see it. But it's also cool because like it's settable off Daga, so I would always play at least one of these somewhere between the main and the side. But I'd probably keep 3 in my side. Droll, Droll's weird. It's like not great against base because like it's not good against a lot like Prank Kids based. There's a lot of decks that can like they can still do their core combo under Droll. But at minimum, Droll essentially kind of deals with the adventure engine, because like if they start with Princess or like adventure, like even if they hard open like Rights, the first thing adventure is usually searching is Draco back. At which point, at minimum, at least Droll cuts them off from Griffin, or one additional extender. So like, and then like there's usually at least 1 or 2 pieces in each deck's actual combo that will also get cut off by Droll. So like for example, in this deck, it at least cuts off the Basil Shoot against Prank Kids. It cuts off the Doodle Doo Search. So mainly it was low. I was like, in theory, I'm like, okay, it's kind of like Ogre. Like it just deals with the adventure engine. It's not great, but in any case, and there's other decks where it's like really good. So I don't know. I like this card as a card. It's funny, I got hit by Droll one game and I had Cross out in hand, and it was the only hand trap I didn't have in my deck at that point. And I was like, oh,
no way.
Okay. I was like, okay. I wanted to, like, it was funny because I obviously couldn't say anything mid game, but like I wanted to make a joke like, oh yeah, that's fine. But yeah, and then 3 Cosmic Cyclone. The only spell and trap removal I'm playing in my 60 card deck. What's up?
Why did you even play it?
Yo, I was like, no cap, I was definitely like considering just not playing it. I was like, I was like, okay, the odds of even seeing it in 60 is like, the odds of seeing a 3 of in this deck is like 25%. So I was like, I almost just didn't play it. But like, there's some matchups where I like sometimes siding in a couple going first. There's some matchups where like, there's not enough hand traps that I want to keep in to where like, I want a couple more cards in going first. And also just like, I don't know, if I did play a hard trap deck, I was like, maybe I should just be playing 1 Reboot, 1 Duster, 1 Storm instead. Because at least those ones, like, in the games where the 25% of games where I do see them, those are kind of blowouts. Whereas this is just like it's just 1 for 1. But I'm like, oh, you know, it's at least like, if against those hard trap decks, it still does the job of like dealing with the skill drain or the floodgate or whatever, and I'll just have to grind through the other stuff. Obviously like the other ones are way better against those trap decks, but like I valued the versatility of like being able to side these and going first in certain matchups. Like I said, I just valued that over the higher impact of the other ones, of the Storm, Duster, Reboot. So that's why I went with these. And like, yeah, I could have just not played any spell and trap removal entirely. I did literally consider that, but I was like, well, there's nothing else I really need in my side, because I already have like every single hand trap in the game in here, except for like, there's one I don't, but I forgot which it is. But maybe I'm thinking cherries. I don't know. But anyway, when we went through the list, we were like, oh yeah, there's 1 hand trap that's not in your deck, Paulie. But anyway, there was just nothing else I really felt like I needed to put in the side. Maybe I would have just put like probably going first card in.
Mourner that he's not.
Mourner probably, yeah. It's probably Mourner.
It's
a level 3
might be
tuner.
what I'm thinking of.
It's a level 3 tuner. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Or collector, maybe.
Yeah.
Collector's also free body for your deck, could be.
Yeah, we
But
thought
in
about
turn-
playing 1 collector. It's sendable off a riser. We did think about that. Yeah, I probably would have just, if I was gonna cut these, I probably would have just played like 3 Judgment. That's my favorite going first card. I like that card a lot. But Paying Life kind of sucks. That card is iffy. And like I said, I was happy with the Cosmics. I did use
trust
them
me,
a little bit.
I know about Paying Life, bro.
Yeah,
I know. I know.
Yeah, here I am like pooping on Destrudo, talking shit, but then like I'm like, oh yeah, Judge is my favorite card. Contradiction again, but whatever.
You ever pass on a full board with 2k life points, bro? Because that's what I did a lot.
Oh my god. All right, extra deck.
All right.
DP.
Okay.
I'll get that out of the way because that one's obvious. One Monk. That's for Vishuda. It kind of sucks having to use an extra deck space for like a non-searchable 3 of that, like, but it's worth it. You have this. You have the space. Link Spider. You use this one literally every single game because the main combo involves like when you summon 3 Mirror tokens, like some of your links, like Verte requires effect monsters, Dagger requires monsters with different names. So being able to climb through this with one of your tokens is important. Dagda, part of the main combo to set Scythe. Verte, one of the best parts of the deck, like I said, like you could look at this deck as just like it's a deck designed to like bait hand traps with your other engines, Adventurer and Red Rose, and then just stick DPE on the board in a simplified game state. You could argue that that's like the premise of this deck. But yeah, so and if you do full combo, this is what you pop your Scythe with. So those are important, obviously. 2 Hulk is probably the only thing I should really be talking about in the extra deck that's like different at all. This definitely came up at least like 4 or 5 games this weekend, I think. It was the last card we put in. We were debating between this and Wonder Magician. Two reasons for Wonder Magician. One, it's a synchro tuner, so sometimes when you end on just Hulk on board, if it got ashed or impermed and like you weren't able to make Verte, like if you just end with just a Hulk out, you can banish it on their turn to summon a synchro tuner. That's you can summon Riser off that and send Snow, but like you can't use the Snow that turn because of Riser's restriction. So we're like, okay, as an alternative, we could play Wonder Magician. It's like pseudo an interrupt that you can use on their main phase with Hulk. Like if they resolve rights placed Adventure, you could go Wonder Magician, pop the Adventure. We weren't gonna play it just for that. That would be like super niche and not come up very often. The main reason was because it was level 5 synchro, and we wanted another target for Hoppier. Because there were some games where like when you do the Aurora play, you already have Baron up, and if you already have Baron up, and now you're making Savage under Aurora, and you're searching the Hoppier, there's nothing you can make with the Hoppier in your extra deck. If you
that came up for you, I think you had a level 3 token, and then
it does come up. Yep. And if you're kind of hoping at that point that they nib you and you can like negate it with Baron. So now that you've used your Baron, you can put the Baron back to extra deck to reborn something and then just resummon the Baron. But like if the Baron's still alive, you're not going to tag out in standby phase, and thus the Hoppier is not going to have any value. So yeah, so we were thinking we always end up with like 1 token left over when you do the Aurora play. So we were like, okay, if we already use Baron, like it gives us another target for the Hoppier, just to make the Wonder Mission. So, but we figured like the Spell Trap pop was probably just not valuable enough, so we decided against it. And in just summoning off Hulk, it just never came up in testing. So we cut it and went with the 2 Hulk, which, like I said, is really good because you use Hulk turn 1 almost always as part of your main combo, and then turn 2, you can use the second one to do the Aurora combo. So turn 1 it's for Red Rose combo, turn 2 it's for Aurora combo. Also by playing 2, like turn 1, even if you don't need to make it, like if you get hand trapped and you end up in a state where you only have like 2 material and you can only make like 1 thing, you want to make Verte, but like you can just make Hulk, and then like if they're silly and they like use their imperm or their ash on it, it's slightly better to end on Hulk than like just Verte if that got impermed. So like you'll make the Hulk first just to summon another one and then just literally link that one off for Verte. It gains you no value, but like you can do it because you're playing a second one, so it's fine to burn the first one turn 1 and try to bait a hand trap. And if they are silly and they like get this one, like you can banish next turn. I have another thought I was about to say on that before I forget. No, I forgot. Okay. Yeah. And that's also where I think the Plague's really good for, because like in those situations when you're like you're literally just baiting them, like because you're just about to turn the 2 monsters into a Verte anyway, like doing this gives you a free Plague Engrave, so that's a free extender for next turn. So I really think that Plague is going to be like valuable. But yeah, so that's why we're playing 2 Hulk. Continuing on with the extra deck to finish up this absurdly long eccentric Paulie video that probably took up way too much time. We've got one Herald of Arclight, 1 Cupid Pitch. You're always making this turn 1, part of the main combo. This is for the Aurora combo. This is part of the main combo. This is for, like I said, the alternative combos where like you can't pop Yahtzee, so you just send Snow, or you summon it off Hulk to send Snow. This is the Aurora. Savage is mainly for the Aurora combo. There's also like if if they ever try to grind with you after you resolve full Scythe combo, what you can actually do is if you ended on like a really good combo where like you did Verte and you still left Hulk up, because sometimes if you have enough material, you can do that. You can end on Baron, Arclight, Verte, and Hulk. Then next turn, once you've used the Scythe, once you've used the Arclight, you can banish the Hulk, summon the Snow. I'm sorry, summon the Riser, send Snow like you want to, and then Riser becomes level 3 once it sends Snow, and it's a tuner. So you can then synchro the Riser with the Scythe on their turn with Riser's second effect to make Savage on their turn. So on top of everything else, full combo, if you have Hulk up, is actually like Savage on top of Baron, Arclight, DPE, Scythe. So, yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying before I got to that, but last 2 cards, Baron, one of my favorite cards in the X-Rec. Like, I love just being able to stick this out as like early and just be able to like have the protection from the hand trap. And then there was one game against a striker player where I summoned this 3 times in one game. Like, that's another thing. Sometimes once you've used the negate, you just keep tagging it out. And like the deck just has so many random levels and so many tuners that like you can kind of just like to be fair, he had no business playing that game out. He should have just scooped that one earlier. But like, so it didn't really matter. But like, definitely like it does come up sometimes where like making it multiple times does come up, and it's really cool because you can tag it out for like if you have Arclight engrave, like tag it. If you've used Arclight and you've used Baron, you tag the Baron out, bring back the Arclight. Now you have another negate. If you can make the Baron again, now you have 2 negates again. Or Scythe. Yep. Yeah, you can bring Scythe back with this. Exactly. I've never done that, but like that's another cool thing you can do.
Right? Like I would probably do that a lot in this deck. I don't know how you barely done that.
I never thought of that. I'm gonna be straight up. I never thought of that.
Yo, YCS champion, eh?
Wait.
No.
Yo, cut that part out. Cut that part out from the VOD, bro.
Yeah, cut it. Holy shit. Holy shit, guys.
Holy shit. Dude.
There's like 7 cards. There's like 7 cards in this deck.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you know what? It's Paulie. Tell me it don't matter, bro. Tell these bozos it don't matter.
No, put that part.
Well, that's not the right attitude. I won't say that. but yeah, no, there's like 7 cards in this deck. I love bringing back off Baron, but I've never done that one.
90 card deck profile. Last card. Let's see everybody round of applause. Access code. Let's go.
Let's go.
Some of this fun the whole weekend.
Let's go. 90 card.
But yeah, we finished. We made it.
Dude,
all right, guys, let's go. Congratulations to Paulie for winning. This is awesome. Hope you guys enjoy this profile.
Bro.
This was pretty sick. But guys, before we end the profile, just be aware that we have a 3v3 Master Duel tournament this weekend for $2,000 as the prize pool. Farfront and I will be casting the tournament with Luxury Gaming hosting the tournament and sponsored by Metafy. So guys, if you guys are interested in participating, check the description in the description box below, and also comment your favorite part about this video, your favorite card from the profile. It's a fat deck, so if you can tell me your favorite card in the profile, I'll start off with saying that mine is Snow. Paulie, you have a favorite card from your deck?
Your card, Hoppier. I really like Hoppier. Fun card.
Hoppier? The bunny.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Of course, shout out to Luxury Gaming. Our team. This was awesome. Really great showing for us, and congratulations to Paulie again for winning this tournament. And guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Yo, if you guys don't subscribe, you guys better subscribe. All right. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.